Just
Everybody, we're going to start the meeting.
These are wrong, by the way. Okay.
Right now, please.
Disrespectful.
Time is 6:06 on Wednesday, the 19th, 20th, sorry, 420.
420.
Wednesday on April 20th is list. And I will call the meeting order at this time. President Arano.
Present.
Deputy Vice President is here. Vice President of Campus Internal Affairs, Irving, will be excused late. Vice President of External Affairs is excused late. Vice President of Finance is absent. Outreach Director is excused late. Personnel Director. Marketing Promotions Director is excused absent. Election Director will be late. Transfer and Nutritional Director will also be late. President of the Board.
Here.
Senator Alcantara is absent. Senator Wilson
Class. He's using his restroom.
will be late.
Class.
We'll change it to President when he gets here. Senator Creo.
Present.
Senator Chan.
Present.
Senator David.
Here.
Senator Lopez.
Here.
Senator Zuna is absent.
Excuse?
I don't think so. I think it's just.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Senator Chow.
Here.
Senator Pereira.
Present.
Senator Tatley.
Present.
Senator Vargas, I believe, is absent. Senator Sumner is excused absent, and Senator Toronto.
Present.
On that note, we have quorum. Is there a motion to approve the agenda or any amendments to the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I move to edit the agenda to make item G executive cabinet reports and reports.
That's our mistake. Thank you. That's an act.
That's the next one. You're supposed to approve it.
16 next.
Thank you for.
More to go.
Yes.
Whoa.
Any other changes to the agenda? Are there any objections to amending the agenda as the President Pro Tempore suggested? Seeing no objections, the agenda will be amended. Are there any objections to adopting the perfected agenda? Seeing none, the agenda will be adopted as presented, or as perfected, sorry. Moving on to approval of Senate meeting minutes number 21. They are reforming. We'll go righty-tighty. Look at the agenda, sign it if you are approving it, and make any changes as necessary. Change me. Someone will simply late to present. And we'll move on to ex officio. This time, are there any members of ex officio who wish to present to the board?
I'll do it. Aside from it being really hot, you know.
Yeah, it's really hot.
So tomorrow, USP's got the civic engagement workshop. So it's presented by a local organization called Mi Familia Vota. It was about getting politically involved, especially with like elections and like giving back to your community. It's from 12 to 1 in Hub 355. We welcome you to join us. There will be free Domino's pizza. Always an incentive. Being fed is nice. Next week, all week, since it's midterms, we'll have midterm coloring stress relief sessions. So from 12 to 2, you can come color, and there'll be like light refreshments, and it's like relaxing and like stress relieving, and et cetera, et cetera. And then our biggest thing coming up is our banquet, May 27th. Bullet's having their 7th annual banquet. Again, I really welcome you all to get a table from ASUCR. Tickets are $20. You can buy them at USP, or for your convenience, we can also purchase them online at investingindthedream.eventbrite.com. So yeah, I really would love to see any of you there. And that's it for today.
Real quick, what was the workshop on again? I missed that part, sorry.
Civic engagement. So how to be more politically involved.
Sounds like something I would love. Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow from 12 to 1 in Hub 355.
265, is it?
355.
355, sorry.
Yeah. Also, for the banquet, we're also accepting donations for our silent auction. So if you have any like cool items that you'd love to donate or any like services, so we have like some friends who donate like a taquero event. So like a taco event for like 20 people. That's always a big seller. So like any art, anything really we'll accept. That's going on till the banquet. So please spread the word. We're looking for any kind of donations. Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for the ex-officio member? Seeing none. Any ex-officio this time?
Okay, hello everyone. So, first Glenmore RHA elections are tomorrow night. Just like the other elections, they're for the Glenmore Senators, and once they meet quorum, elections will begin and the doors will close. AI building president's elections were last Wednesday. The building president-elect for next year is Julia Schemmer. The Pentland Hills building president elections were also last week, and that building president-elect for next year is Martin Liu. AI RHA is having a program tonight, and it's called Just Chill. It's from 8 to 10 p.m. in the AI Amberlight, and it's a stress relief program, so residents can go out and color, play with Play-Doh, make their own stress balls out of balloons, rice, or flour. They can also pop bubble wrap and make their own snow globes with mason jars, water, and glitter. On Saturday, you might have heard that Housing is hosting their annual Monte Carlo event, so that's from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Glenmore courtyard, which is in front of buildings FI and G, and at the pool. There'll be casino games, and some of the prizes will include tickets to Universal Studios, so you can go check out the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter. There'll also be a dive-in movie at the pool hosted by RHA, where NRHH will be giving out giveaways to residents to recognize their hard work this past year. And there'll be parking at the Glenmore structure for free as long as you have a UCR valid parking permit. The parking gate will be up, so you can go and park there. Just have your parking permit and you shouldn't get a ticket. Lothian RHA will be having a program next Tuesday, April 26th from 8 to 10 p.m. in the Lothian Galley, and it's called Sustainalo, and that's also a sustainable program just like Glenmore hosted last week. And they'll be tabling from CalPERG and GCAP, and they'll have a whole bunch of different DIY crafts that the residents can make. And besides that, I yield my time.
Fernando, so AI new president is Julia Pentland Martin. Was there anyone from Lothian?
Lothian, I announced last week, which is Annalise Warner. And then the Glenmore will find out this upcoming Thursday, which I guess is tomorrow.
It's minutes. I was just asking clarification. Anyone have any questions for the ex-officio member? Seeing none, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other ex-officio members at this time to present to this board? Seeing none, we move forward to public forum. Public forum is reserved for any member of the public who wish to address this board on any issue whatsoever. Hi.
Hi.
Would you mind stating your name for the minutes?
Huh?
Would you mind stating your name for the minutes?
Oh yeah, no, totally. Okay. I know a few faces here. My name is Alana Ngurin. Second year, I work at the Asian Pacific Student Programs, also a peer mentor at the Women's Resource Center, also chair of Diversity Council, part of ASUCR. I also I want to make a comment about Diversity Council, or just a little update. We are now in the process of making a statement in regards to the incident that occurred at the Ethnic Studies Department over spring break. And in that statement, we also like to address the statement of intolerance. Another update would have to be about the diversity conference that is coming up, I believe April 30th. A comment that I would like to make about it is that I have been working with Dilshan about it, and progress is going great, but what is lacking is acknowledging Diversity Council, Diversity Council's presence in the preparing process, and also just touching upon how quite touchy of a subject it is to have party candidates endorsing the conference. We understand that it is a platform that is to be publicized from ASUCR, but to have a party endorse it, it doesn't seem right to me. And so that's what I would like to address.
Thank you. Comments well taken. Are there any questions or comments for the member of the public? Seeing none. Yes.
Will you clarify more about the statement that you said the diversity council is going to make?
Oh, yeah, okay, so we're realizing that, yes, Chancellor Wilcox did make a statement about the incident, but it was very general. It didn't specifically state, oh, this is what happened on our UCR campus. So we like to create a more specified statement addressing the actual incident, and then also state about how, yes, there was a Palestinian flag that was torn down, and then that how we would like to additionally address the statement of intolerance, which lacks to address anti-Zionism, and so we would like to do that.
Thank you. Any other questions for the member of the public? Seeing none, again, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other members of the public who wish to comment in public forum?
Good evening, everybody. Hi, my name is Sergio Robles, second year political science student. Hope everybody's midterms are going well. Last week I was here speaking about the needs for student leaders and student government to get more engaged with local city politics and city engagements. And I mentioned, for example, a way for us to start doing that is actually creating a student presence at the mayoral debates that are going on right now. There's a lot of important issues that pertain to commuters. For example, there's a $9 million budget deficit. The city's discussing whether to hire more legal counsel or to hire more policemen for misdemeanors. They're seeing whether or not to legalize marijuana dispensaries here in the city as well. So because a lot of students actually live in the city, it's a lot of important issues that pertain to students. And I know some of the issues that arose were that, well, the meetings are a little too far for students, and so it makes it kind of hard, but I actually have come down with more information. There's going to be one at the Stratton Community Center off of MLK. It's about a mile from here on April 28th. That's a Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. And I was actually serious about having us establish a coalition of students that go to this meeting and represent UCR students there. And this is like the closest one. It's coming up, and I'd actually really like for students to go. My brother and I actually going to carpool if anyone wants to join us. I don't know, like, if we can actually, if the senator would like to get this going, get this started, but I really think that it'd be great for UCR leaders to go to these meetings because they're really important, and they need to see UCR leadership there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to comment to the member of the public?
I yield my time.
I know Summer Schaefer, our external vice president. She's actually currently working on the bylaws for the external vice president. And in it, she's working on a committee specifically for city outreach, including the mayoral, any like mayoral city council stuff. She's not going to have her report today because it's a Senate report today. But I think we can definitely work with her because she's trying to establish a better connection with the city and UCR. So I suggest she'll be here like maybe, I want to say 20 minutes.
Okay, awesome. So I could just talk to her, but I haven't had the opportunity to. I know I was going to speak with her, but I haven't since last week. But do you know if there's any developments with that? Is it going forward? Is it moving?
Yes. So she hasn't necessarily sent out, asked the personnel to send out like a committee, but she's working on the foundation of what the committee would do and how it would function. So as someone who's definitely involved within the city, I recommend you speak to her. That way she can better guide her
Awesome.
in creating this.
And I'd just like to say to everybody that I'll definitely be talking this summer because actually I want this to be a reality. So if this is something you think you might want to attend, you might want to go to, please talk to Summer and we can get this going. Thank you.
Totally personally now. So April 28th, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of very politically and civically engaged students as part of ASUCR, so I don't doubt there'll be a lot of people hopefully who want to go, and I'm, for one, will definitely see you there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other members of the public who wish to address this board at this time? Okay, seeing none, let's move forward to Senate reports. Which Senate? Right side. Senator Wilson, your report?
So yeah, we got our largest conference in 2 weeks, April 30th, Saturday here at UCR. There's a planning committee meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. here in the ASUCR office. I need a lot of people power the day of, so I would greatly appreciate if all of you could contact me if you're willing to help in regards to logistics, helping out throughout the day. Yeah, man, I'd love to see all of you there. Tell all your friends. That's it.
Excuse me, everyone. I have a bit of a cold. Fellow Julia helped reach out to Guitar Center Mobile for me. They are interested in assisting with our STARS project. Once I get in direct contact with them, I can figure out what they can do to help. So that's really exciting. The Chancellor's Committee of Sexual Assault and Sexual Violence Prevention had their first event last night, the Haze. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend because sick, but I heard that it was very powerful and very moving. And also, I am very excited to work with Ashley on making the citation-free parking better and more efficient and a more efficient system. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Any questions for the Senator? Senator?
Sorry, I said believe the allergies. On May 6th, the new member summit workshop, and that's Red Pound speaking as well as the panel speaker. That it looks like it might be UCPD chief or someone from the law, and basically just going to address the drunk driving issues. And I'm also working with Bill Young on the campaign, and then the name of this campaign, I decided I wanted to call it R Drive. Like R, Drive.
Thank you for explaining that.
And then basically, so we'll be working on that, and it's working on it over the summer into next year because it's a bigger project. And then the next Wednesday is their New Nurse, and we'll be there. We'll be promoting the campaign at the New Year's event, me and Bo, and I might need some help, some volunteer help on for the May 6th, but I'll let you guys know. And also, I'm working with Nick Saldivar right now to work for the composites, and we basically came up with an idea that I will share later. That's all. You know my time.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions for the Senator? Seeing none.
I have nothing to report.
Senator Chen?
Okay, so I'm working on finalizing the poster for the Undie Run, which is set for May 17th at 6 p.m. And it's planned to go until 10 p.m. And I'm also assisting Senator David with her kindness campaign. Bless you. We're very quiet species here,
Senator.
Yeah, on the topic of the Undie Run, can I move to make it mandatory for
Yes, you can.
people?
You can do so right now.
I'd like to move to make the Undie Run a mandatory event for ASUCR representatives.
We can do that.
Oh, on May 17th, May 16th. Sorry, there's a motion on the floor.
Sorry, Senator David is right. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Senator Chan. To clarify for our bylaws, we can make any ASUCR event mandatory if we tell each other in advance. Mandatory in the same manner that ASUCR Senate meetings are, so meaning that you can be excused only pretty much once. And it also counts 2 volunteers probably, by the way, Senator Wilson. There's a motion on the floor. This is seconded by Senator Chan. The motion is to make the Undie Run, which is
May 17th at 6 p.m.
May 17th at 6 p.m. mandatory. I don't believe this is a discussion or debate item. Yes.
Point of clarification, if we have class.
In your class, you're excused. Same way you are excused for Senate meetings. Yes.
Do I have to run?
No,
Yes.
no, you don't have to run.
You have to run.
You can just stand.
I'll stand there.
You can help with the paint. Okay.
There's motion, there's discussion, there's no discussion or debate on this item. Yes.
When is it?
May
May
17th at 6
What
p.m.
day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
What time?
6
Hey,
Or
now-
next.
Give him a minute.
Let's move this to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained?
Josh didn't vote.
I was gonna vote, but like, you guys were too fast.
We have both have abstained. The vote is 9-1-1. And on that note, the Undie Run is mandatory. Senator Wilson.
Wait, no, it's not his turn.
No, I'm not.
You can make a
getting
motion on
my
any
report.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Senator Wilson?
I move to make the Beyond Our Margins Conference April 30th a mandatory ASUCR event for all elected officials to attend.
What time?
Saturday, April 30th, 9 a.m. till 5.
I have classes.
To clarify, Senator Wilson, are you making the entire day mandatory?
Yes.
Okay. So is there any setup like the day before or anything that?
No, we will set up 2 hours prior to students coming, so 7 a.m. So actually 7 a.m.
Whoa! It's
Dude,
not
come,
something-
like
okay.
here. All right, look.
There's a motion on the floor. I'll say this one more time. Senator Wilson, your motion is to make the Beyond Our Margins Conference, which is when again?
April 30th, Saturday, April 30th,
Saturday, April 30th,
7 a.m.
7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's not 2 weeks. It's not 2 weeks in advance.
I thought it was
It's only 1 week.
Pretty sure it's 1 week.
I'm joking.
Parliamentarian, would you mind clarifying just in case reference?
1 week. But yeah, beyond that, can you also put like the entire bylaws, not just like the chapters? Because like on the website, I can't.
Okay, this is something we can talk about another
Okay,
time.
never mind.
Let's focus
There's a
on
motion on the
this.
floor. Is there a second?
I have a point of inquiry.
We'll get, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Lopez?
Yeah.
Point of inquiry.
So if it's a Saturday, obviously nobody has class, but some of us have like personal things that we do on Saturdays. So what would constitute for a like excusal?
Excuses for the absence.
Like
are-
nothing?
No, it's a valid question. Excuses for absences is generally regarded with the chair. Since it's the senator's event, anyone who has a valid excuse will let the senator decide if it counts as absent or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, is that week
Yeah, you have retreat.
week 5 though?
Yes. Any other questions or query? Yes.
So if we do need to be excused, we email Belshon directly to visit that?
Would you mind seeing me so we have a both account? But yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? If not, let's move this to a vote. All in favor of making the Beyond Our Margins Conference on April 30th on a Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. mandatory? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any opposed? Any abstain? The vote is 9 to 0. And I note the motion passes.
Oh, point of inquiry. This only applies to directors, ECAP, and senators.
And parliamentarian, everyone on the horseshoe, including the Senate.
No.
Paid positions.
No.
To clarify,
I'll clarify.
So
It is not.
There is still
Yeah.
something in your bylaws, or our bylaws that say, your job description is as directed by the executive vice president and I, so are you. Secondly, during a vote, please refrain from making any comments or anything that would suggest someone should vote something. So like laughing during a vote or like snickering does count that way. Yes. Yes. Just want to agree. Cool. Then we'll move forward to the reports. I believe Senator David.
So for this week, for the Undie Run, I've been working to go to Multimedia Tech building, which I haven't done yet, sorry. But we did work on the budget, and then we have the set date, so that's good. Kindness campaign, I'm working closely with my interns. We're gonna make 2 videos. One will be like on the Monday, it'll be released the Monday, and then explaining what's gonna be happening during the week, and then what it's all about. And then one of the videos will be made during the week, kind of like an experimental sort of thing, interacting with the students. And that's going to be week 8, so it's finally set. I think it's also during Pillars Week, which is pretty like big for the Greek community, so I'm not sure. Also for rollover printing, I don't have any updates. Cubbies for commuters, I met with Vice Chancellor Coley with President Toronto, and we're preparing a survey for to go around Lot 30 and ask if students are commuters, and then if like blockers would be beneficial or whatever need be. And if anybody wants to help with that, be greatly appreciated. Administration is looking for policy on lockers if there is any, and they might be looking into lawyers if we might need it, should we reopen the lockers. And yeah, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the senator? Excuse me. Seeing none.
Okay. So as Nick said before, just to reiterate, we had for the Associated Students Chancellors Committee for Sexual Harassment and Sexual Violence Prevention, we did host the HAYS. with Heather Marlowe, and that was fantastic. So for those of you who were able to come, I'm really glad you were able to come, and we did end up giving out all the free pepper sprays. Yeah. For the Student Health Advisory Committee, we recently made our suggestions to the provost on which student health that we believed as students, given our student perspective, would be the best choices. And we just heard back this past week that he did take our suggestions into consideration, but he didn't choose either of the top three. So we actually have a meeting tomorrow, and I think most of us are really excited and intrigued to find out what determined his reasoning for why he chose it. For the Student Housing Advisory Committee, we will be meeting next Monday to go over to the budget for the following academic year. We understand that there's a new influx of first years. I think it's something like we're short 432 beds. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to try to work around that, as well as what they're doing for family housing. I currently still have to contact UMO for the capital planning meeting, but that will definitely happen before the end of this quarter, so look for that. And then I've also stepped onto the Senate mentorship / internship program, so I'm really excited to see what my interns will be able to do, and I'll definitely give you an update on that next week. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for the Senator? So the med storage, where in housing is that?
It's just
All over for the first years? Wow.
for the upcoming year, and they're even thinking about converting part of Glenmore as residential halls. Yeah.
120 beds is like a pretty significant number.
It's because of the office, the UC Office of the President mandate.
Mandates it, yeah.
Mhm.
Order. Thank you. Any questions for the Senator? Seeing none, President Pro Tempore.
For the mural restoration, I've gotten from the survey 455 responses, so I'm going to be closing that. A lot of them talking about updating it with like current UCR history. A lot of it talking about like wanting more abstract art, more colors. I think it's about 58%. We're leaning towards repainting it, and 36 towards just restoring it. So I'll probably publish the results of that soon, sometime this week. And I'm going to reach out to some of the ethnic gender programs about sending artists or sending representatives for the ad hoc committee that will be formed about it. So Tina from MASC has already gotten back to me. And once I send out the email publishing the results, I'll also send out for to actually sit on the committee. The committee for campus art hasn't met yet.
No.
Okay. But once they do, I'll also go and present that to them. I also met with the ever dynamic Robles brothers about that, so thank them for they came by yesterday to talk about the mural. So thank them for coming by and giving their input. I'll probably have to be planning my meeting with the dean earlier. It's been like at the end of the quarter, every quarter. So for all chat senators who haven't done it, I'm probably gonna be looking for the next couple weeks. As well as I'll be working on a resolution for the Human Rights Board that I talked about before. So I have a better outline for that, so that'll be coming in the next couple weeks as well. And that was my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, of course.
Actually, get your question.
Yes. Any questions for the, yes?
So I'm sorry, will you clarify, in the survey you sent out, people are saying that they want to change the painting under the freeway?
Yeah, 56%, I believe, of the people who responded to the survey.
Is that something that you're taking into account, of like completely changing the mural that's been there for years?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if the campus art committee would agree with that, so.
Oh, well, when I meet with them, we'll find out.
Okay. And is that going to be like voted on by Senate, or are we going to go based on? And how many people also filled out the survey too?
455.
Okay. I'm just not sure. Okay.
Hello.
I don't know. For me, I would be worried about changing the, like, for historical purposes, changing the mural. But yeah, I'd be interested to see the results of everything and the questions that were asked about that.
Yeah, there's still a lot of more processes going forward. I've already talked to Jeff Krauser, who's the creative director, as well as to the city about the murals and sort of about like the history of it and moving forward. So everything will be considered moving forward.
Do you know when the mural was painted?
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
Pardon me, can you repeat that?
I asked when it was painted, and Lori said
Oh.
in the 90s.
Laura, do you know?
Lori said in the 90s.
Already sorry, we're totally.
Late 90s.
I've only been here for like a year, I have no idea what it was.
Question.
Yes.
Oh, it's a suggestion. If it is such a big issue, maybe it's just me not observing, but the other side of the pears, is there anything on that side?
What do you mean about the side?
The,
I think he means like the left or entrance that comes from like Martin Luther King.
no, like, you know where the mural is?
Yeah.
On the other, because it's like in a huddle, right?
Oh, they're both.
On the, they're both painted?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Right? Yeah.
Both, are you talking about both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, both are painted.
Okay. So that's not the Martin Luther King side. But anyway, yeah, that's a different one.
Any other comments or questions for the President Pro Tempore? Seeing none, move forward. Yes.
Fair Play Prevention, I lied. In Chapter 21 of the Senate Apathy Prevention Act, when mandatory events only apply to senators, not ECAB directors or officers. Just have to clarify that because I feel like I lied. Anyway.
Thank you for clarifying. But you should all go, definitely, because Marty will be
Okay, so someone should change that to include ECAB directors.
Anyway, let's move forward with the reports. Senator Chow.
Of course. So, as Kat had already mentioned, the Student Health Committee, I think it was just a little confusing for the members as we have been working this whole entire year discussing which insurance will be the most beneficial for the student body based on the demographic of the first generation, based on the resources provided on campus. And so when we made our final decision, we took into account a lot of the different options as well as financial as one of the biggest reasons, but most importantly, which benefits will directly target the students here at UCR. So that's definitely something that we will be addressing tomorrow and see what the provost has to say about it. So that would be interesting. Of course, SFAC. Last Friday, they made their final recommendations for all the different departments of the allocation of funds. And so moving forward, we'll be assessing the committee as well as re-updating our bylaws to match the ASUCR bylaws as well as different CAD members that do sit on the committee. So that will be our project for the end of the school year. And of course, with the mandatory internships, our meetings are Tuesday, if any senators are interested in coming at 5 p.m. And I think most importantly, what we will be working on is Senate outreach and focusing on engaging senators in conversations with the student public. And I have nothing further to report.
Thank you. Any other questions for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Theodore.
All right, so I wrote about what we'll be voting on tonight regarding finals week. It's mainly to bring our finals policy in line with other UCs. In my research, I discovered UC San Diego formally condemns having any finals during week 10, and same with UC Santa Barbara, they specifically sanction it as a dead week, and they consider any final within a week between the end of the quarter and their finals to be not allowed. So I'm trying to get that. Additionally, I also learned that this week I think it was either the Office of the Presidents or the Regents in their setting up of an academic calendar for the next year, they have officially removed finals from being scheduled on Saturdays. So there will no longer be finals on the Saturday following week 10. And also kind of fun news but unrelated is winter break next year is going to be 4 weeks instead of the normal 3.
Next year?
Yeah.
Yes. And additionally, I went to Student Policy Conference. It was great. Where we lobbied on student issues ranging from food insecurity to mental health campaigns. In addition, while there, I was able to go to a workshop hosted by Ruben. If you do anything with food security, hopefully you know who Ruben is. Where he kind of said that the new plan for food security within the UC is to move away from having food security councils and to turn them from food security councils into basic need councils, which include housing insecurity problems. So I think we should start trying to move our food security council to a basic needs council and include housing insecurity on that.
That's interesting.
And that's all for my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the senator? Yes.
Was there a presentation, did there a PowerPoint? Were there notes from that meeting that you could get?
He had a PowerPoint. He told us that he was not allowed to show us that PowerPoint, and that the PowerPoint he was just showing us, and then if anyone got him in trouble for it, he would say we were his focus group for showing it because he hasn't even showed the regions in. It was exclusive.
Wow.
In regards to Saturday, what can you say about that?
Okay, so you know how like sometimes you'll have a final that's scheduled like immediately after week 10 on that Saturday?
Yes.
Yes, that's no longer happening starting next year. Senator Theodore, so what's the difference between a basic needs council and a food security? Basic needs includes housing and security. And clothes, probably, yes. Thank you. Any other questions for Senator? Senator Marcus, perfect timing.
I think I should go first. So, relatively short, as Senator Tyler already said, the Student Housing Advisory Committee is going to be meeting relatively soon. There's actually two meetings upcoming. There's one on Monday, April 25th from 9 p.m. at the Foxhole, and then Thursday, April 28th at 6 p.m. at the campus apartment RSO conference room. I believe these are both open meetings, so if you do want to attend, you're welcome to go and listen to what the plan is. Respectively, the meetings are along with the RHA Cabinet meeting, along with as well as the CARA Cabinet meeting. And as Senator Hadley already said, it's going to go over the housing budget, the future plans, and kind of the 10-year business plan, along with everything, how to kind of balance out the influx of students with the number of beds and basically available resources for them. In regards to org clusters, there was an A cluster meeting on April 13th that I was able to attend. This cluster meeting was one of the final cluster meetings, so it actually included honors, academic, and professional all in one. So I was able to talk with many of the organizations, and some of them said they were going to contact me, so it's just a matter of waiting for a response on that. But other than that, that wraps up my report for now.
Thank you. Any questions for the Senator? Seeing none. Senator Vargas, the only thing one of the two things you missed out was
We made it mandatory.
one of the senators made a motion to make the underrun mandatory for all ASUCR to, or at least all the Senate to go to.
Wait, so they did make it mandatory?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. That was
Cool. And we also made it mandatory to go to the Rhino Marches conference.
She's already 5 p.m.
Okay. I was,
She's already lost.
on a personal person.
Of course.
See.
Senator Vargas,
Okay.
time for your report.
So it's super short since they already made it mandatory, I won't mention that. So our closet, we're still in the process of planning everything. We're going to start marketing the first week of May, so look out for posters and such. And then the Dundee Road's May 17th, just look out for more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Melissa, would you talk about the day of the Undue Run, what we're going to do with the actual closet? Opening it up.
Okay. We will be opening up the Bear's Den so people can go in and check it out. But I believe after you left, we had mentioned that we're not going to be giving out clothes because if they're going to have paint all over them, then they're going to be going in there and they can get the clothes that's already, I don't know, but that's something that we were discussing.
Just wanted to say about the undue rent, we're like refocusing the attention on the donation of clothes and then telling people what times our closet's going to be open during that week. And then, just recentering that focus on the closet.
So then will you also, so if you're not doing it the actual night, are you still doing it the next week that it's going to be open?
It's going to be open.
How many times?
I think did we say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? I think we said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be open.
I think we also wanted it open the day after the underrun.
Yeah, and the day after that. Yes.
Yes.
Is there an itinerary, like a schedule of like what's gonna happen from like 6 to 7, it's like the 8, 9?
That's why I said it's still in progress. Like we're still planning everything out. So we should have something by next week or the next Senate meeting where we give our reports out.
Yes. Moving on to the agenda, is there any other last questions for the Senator? Seeing none, we'll move toward to past meeting business and the committee reports. We go to the Finance Committee. Senator Wilson, as the member of the Finance Committee, would you mind reading the report?
I actually had an appointment this past Friday and I wasn't there, but I'll read it.
No worries. Do you have a copy with you or online? Projector? You know, do you mind if I just do it? It'll be real fast. Okay. Would you mind being on the screen though? One time, please. The board contingency budget opening balance was $17,845. They had hearings from, first off, with the Caribbean Student Union. Wow. They approved $1,000 and $1,067. The TEDx UCR grant approved $1,500. Was approved $1,500. PALS was granted and allocated $1,500 as well. Total org allocations $4,067. Closing balance for the org contingency fund is $13,778. Then we'll move forward to the ASUCR consistent opening balance of $2,680.50.
That's true.
Sorry.
Not ready for that.
Let's just try and keep the non-partisan, please.
Keep it political propaganda down.
Yes, please, thank you.
Taking economics class.
And let's move forward. For the ACCR opening balance again was $2,680.50. And there was a budget transfer for the Vice President General's office approved. No money was actually allocated, just transfer. Closing balance is the same amount as originally, $2,680.50. Cass? Actually, okay. Any questions on motions for the budget? Yes.
Why was there a request for $0?
So to clarify, you can correct me, Vice President, I'm assuming that there's no money allocated, just transferred between accounts in the Vice President's office, and since it's over probably 500, it had to be approved by Finance. I'm assuming.
It was money within our own budget already, so it was already allocated, so it just had to be moved from one section in our budget to a different section to properly fund.
Thank you for clarifying. Any other questions? Yes.
Oh, what was moved to where?
Oh my gosh, let me see if I can pull it up. I'm almost positive we took money out of our Regent meeting funding and put it towards the Sacramento Lobby Conference. Because we had a lot of money in the Regent's meetings and those weren't attended this year for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any motions to approve the Finance Committee report?
I move to approve the finance committee report.
There's a motion to approve Finance Committee, Senator Pereira. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second by Senator Chow. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it's Finance, you're right, thank you for correcting me. All in favor of adopting or approving the Finance Committee report? Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing none, the Finance Committee report is unanimously adopted. Moving on to LRC Committee. We will start with the Senate will discuss and take action on Chapter 24, Academic Standards. President Tempore, would you like to start?
Okay, so the point of this was, there's already been issues of distinctions between vacancy and censorship. Excuse me. So the academic standards, the point of this was to create a separate definition for academic standards. So academic standards or academic leave is defined as being separate now from censorship. Censorship is for issues within the office about conduct or dereliction of duties or all of that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but that stuff. Academic leave would be a completely separate item just for academics. So in Section 4, we struck the active censure, and academic leave is now the new term for this. Section 5, there were a couple other things struck, just to clarify. Oh, I can tell it's new. It's not. Yes, the blue stuff, that's blue up there. It's not on the sheet tonight. So under Section 5, if any member is determined ineligible based on academic requirements for a quarter and must go on academic leave, they shall be forbidden from exercising the duties and privileges of their position, including voting, and shall have their stipend withheld for the following quarter if they're on academic leave. So if you don't meet the grade requirement, which is 2.0, for the following quarter, you would not be allowed to fulfill the position and would not receive your stipend. As well as, it'd be new, yeah. In the case of a case of N member, should be A member. In the case of a member of the executive cabinet being on academic leave, the Senate shall appoint by 2/3 vote a temporary officer to assume their duties for the duration of the quarter or assume duties to assume the duties. So for this, if a member of the Senate is on academic leave, more than likely there will be quorum that's will be able to vote. But if an ECAP member is censured, in order to make sure that they're still able to, or not censured, excuse me, is the point of this. If an ECAP member goes on the academic leave, the Senate would appoint someone in order to take over the position. And yeah, that's it.
Any questions or comments for the senator? Yes, Separate.
I don't know if it's in this particular bylaw, but is there a section that says somewhere that if they were to meet academic requirements, that quarter that they were on academic leave, they would be reinstated, or what would happen if they make academic standards again?
So it's not explicitly here, but this only applies to not making them. So it's assumed that the next quarter that they do make the requirement, then they'll be able to come back.
I believe there's a line that actually says they're on academic leave until they're health check. I think it's in section 5. Yes.
Is this the point where we can ask the public if they have any opinion? Or, I mean, like, can I feel?
Yeah, if there's time,
if there's any opinion on this, I mean, I already have like my own kind of opinion, but I want to hear what the public has to say about this. If there's any way that you're like leaning towards, just so like I can like gauge my feel around it too, you know. So, because there's some people who have like a kind of like an issue with it being called academic leave because it already implies that you're gone or like you're in vacancy because of your grades and I don't know what else to like call it, sort of thing.
At this time, I believe the senator is asking if there's anyone in the public who wishes to address the board on these bylaw changes. Alright, seeing none, I believe it can be a standing offer. If there is a member of the public who wishes to address this board on a topic, please note it, and if the senator so wishes, they can yield time. Senator Pereira, to address your concerns in section A of section 5, the last line is they, after including the shall be withheld for the following quarter in which they are on academic leave. So assuming that like while they're on academic leave, it's implied that they are on academic leave to when they have those.
Can you just fix the comma, where it's like privileges of their position?
Yeah, the comma is simple, grammatical experience. Would you mind linking share parliamentarian and parliamentarian? Would you mind posting it in the Google Drive? Sorry, in the Google Meet for the Senate? Copy he shared because it's in the folder. Copy link and send to him, or share to him directly. Just type his email here. It's in. It was just emailed to you. Yes, no, correct.
So 2 questions. I think I heard one. But I feel like it might be good to explicitly state it, as we've seen in this particular bylaw in the past, where information was not explicitly stated and the interpretation was kind of skewed. So I think it might be good to correct it. And also, can you exactly clarify how changing it from active censure to academic leave will affect the person on academic leave in this situation, assuming it's passed?
Okay, so for part 1, yeah, upon adding a line, just explicitly state that once they make the academic requirement again, they'd be reinstated. Yeah, so I can make a motion to change that. And then for the second part, what was it?
What does this exact change actually do to affect the person who was affected?
So the issue, or one of the issues that we ran into earlier was people who were, for academic reasons or whatever, who were put under censure because of the misinterpretation of the difference between vacancy and censorship. Because they're put under censure, I know there were some recommendations about contacting alternates for certain positions. So this would just make clear that there's no going to the alternate. It's not a vacancy, and this just defines academic leave like explicitly as being a separate thing. So if you're censured, that's separate than the seat being vacant, which is separate than going on academic leave for a quarter. And because they're 4 separate things. Academics is for like getting grades up. Like censorship is for something within the office that.
I think what the senator was asking is like if there's anyone censured right now, what would happen if we change it to leave. Is that correct?
I mean, I don't mind knowing that too, actually. I think Corey hit what I was saying, but I mean, why not talk about the actual situation if you want?
Ron, do you have a comment real quick?
Yeah, I have a question. I was wondering why there's an inconsistency between the senators would still be paid and be able to fulfill their duties except for voting, but the ECAB wouldn't be. I was wondering what made whoever wrote this document think that way, especially because the senator's main responsibility is to vote, and I mean, it just doesn't make sense because ECAB don't vote. You know what I'm saying? Corey?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, so I'm wondering why, if an ECAB member doesn't meet the minimum 2.0 requirement, why they're still not fulfilling their duties and why someone else replaces them. But for a senator, someone wouldn't replace them. Even though someone replaced them, they'd still be able to vote and contribute in that way to the Senate meetings.
Or so, like I mentioned, the point was that Senate probably, there's not going to be that many people on academic leave at any point. So they would still be able to function fine without having that one voting member missing. Without having a single person not able to vote, the Senate would still be able to function well. Whereas for ECAB, if there is that person missing, they should be put, or they need someone to put them back in. The point of academic leave is that they leave for the quarters. They would be out for the duration of the
Oh, so they don't fulfill their duties?
No, they wouldn't.
They
So
don't
you
fill
would
their
have-
duties, they don't vote, they don't get paid.
So potentially you would have less than 16 people on the horseshoe?
Yes.
In the case that a Senate got elected that many people are on academic leave, I think there's a problem with who's being elected in the structure of the Senate and the elections. And I don't think that that's, just realistically, I don't see that. It is a possibility, but I don't see it happening that many people. It's a 2.0. 2.0 is a very low standard.
I don't know, we had a lot of issues with academic, filling the academic requirement this
Yes.
year. I mean,
But not
it's
enough
been
that-
over 5.
Not that we didn't meet quorum. That I know
Order,
of.
please. Just Chair. A couple different things I want to make clear. First, anyone on this board has the power to make changes on this floor right now to amend these bylaws. We'll go through debate real quickly in a very structured, fast-moving way. We'll vote on it, and the changes will stand as we vote. Okay? So Senator Pereira, you mentioned making a change. That's well within your power. You simply say, I move to do this, and we will talk it out, and we'll go through the process. Secondly, the change, the language on not a senator being on academic leave but not contacting alternate is a change we are discussing right now. There hasn't been a motion yet, but if we wish to make that change or change the language, now is the time to do so. We will start a queue on this. We'll start with, anyone who wishes to talk on this matter? Welcome to queue a couple times. We'll start with Senator Pereira. Senator Pereira, anyone else? Senator David? And in with President Arano. And we'll send President Pro Tempore before one, and then
No. Or did you want?
Oh,
no, Dan, did you want to end? Or I just want to respond to everyone.
Oh, yeah, I still have more questions, that's all I have.
No, I think, do you want to go last? Or is it fine if I go last so I can answer?
Oh, sure, yeah, you can go after me.
then we'll go with this. Thank you. Senator Pereira, your floor.
So I was going to actually make the motion, but should I wait until?
No, you can make a motion anytime.
But I would like to add an additional section or portion, or subsection, whatever, that explicitly states what would happen should they make academic requirements during that quarter in which they are on academic leave.
I'm assuming you want to make that under
Section 5, subsection.
Section,
yeah.
At the end of this.
Subsection.
I'm assuming you want to make it in section 5, subsection A, and make it just a part 1 of A.
Sure.
Would you mind, Parliamentarian? And just make one denim. And can you restate the purpose of the language you wish?
The reason why I wanted it to be explicitly stated is because we've seen that during this year, the bylaws have been interpreted different ways.
Oh, to clarify, can you restate the purpose of the language you want, like the intent of what you want the language to say?
What I wanted to say, or like what the purpose?
Like, we want the language to be pretty much.
Okay. I think I'd say that.
You want to be clear that, if I can, that once they make their grades again, they can come back, correct?
Yes, that's the idea.
And verbiage do you want?
Section, when a the case of Senator, in the case of Senator meeting academic requirements in the next quarter, they shall regain their position. Does that work?
I can recommend.
Okay.
Because of some of their meeting, academic requirements, the next quarter, they shall regain their position.
Again, for the Senate, the link towards this doc which is posted for anyone who wishes to address it directly on the phones or whatsoever can do so. And any members of the public who wish to view the language can more so do so. Just raise your hand and we'll add you to the doc. Pardon? Senator, how's it look for the language? It might be easier if you just look at your computer.
It's
No, sorry. Go into the group me. We just posted it. Yeah. Can you check the sharing settings, making sure that it's for everyone? Yes.
I have to request that.
No, change that. No. Change. Set people access to anyone on the link. Anyone. Refresh it, try again. President Pro Tempore, any suggestions on language?
I know if you want to like explicitly say they will be removed from academic leave.
Oh yeah, that would be better. I saw.
I still have access.
Yes.
After, I'll just go down to.
Pardon me?
I just want to be added to the list.
Okay. Well, we can't finish language yet, so it's not so. Okay, so they shall be resume duties and
Removed from academic leave.
be removed from academic leave. Yeah. Senator Pereira, are you okay with the language?
Yeah, that sounds good. Can I
Okay.
also add an additional section?
Hmm?
It's an additional section. I don't know how you guys would feel about it though. I'll do a separate motion. Fine.
It's all good. There's a motion on the table to add the suggested language to section 5, subsection 1, which will read, in the case of Senator meeting academic requirements in the next quarter, they shall resume their duties and be moved from academic leave. Is there a second to this motion? Seconded by Senator Willis. Is there any discussion or debate on this motion? Any discussion or debate on this motion? Seeing none, let's move this to a quick vote then. All in favor of amending the proposed legislation? Any opposed? Any abstain? Then the vote is unanimous and the bylaw suggestions will be presented as perfected. Moving on to Senator Pereira, you're still your floor.
I'll yield for now.
Okay, moving on to Senator David.
Just wanted to take this time to yield for the public, because I think Julie raised her hand earlier.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was just gonna say that I find it very dangerous to base something off assumptions, especially because I know it was previously said that more than likely not everyone will get kicked out for academic reasons, but I just feel very uneasy about leaving a decision for future generations of the ASUCR representatives to be left purely on the assumption that this wouldn't happen. I hope that makes sense, so that was my only comment.
Senator David, still your floor?
Anybody else?
Okay, let's move forward. President Rono.
Okay. I'd like to amend the bylaw to say when a senator is on academic leave, their alternate will be contacted by the chair and serve the quarter until the senator is off of academic leave.
Would you be okay with making this a subsection 2 of section A5?
A5?
Sorry, right below, basically, no make the beat. Yeah, right there. Scroll up a little bit so she can see the one before that. Section 5, A is about the academic requirements for a senator, and then they go into senator, then you can go right to alternate. Or would you want it somewhere else?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Can you read the language one more time for the parliamentarians?
So it'd say, you can edit this, but this is what I wrote down. When a senator is on academic leave, their alternate will be contacted by the chair and serve that quarter until the senator is off of academic leave.
The alternate.
The alternate will serve that quarter until the senator is off of academic leave.
Shouldn't you just say until?
Senator Wilson, sorry.
Because it may not be just be 1 quarter. That senator may in fact not be great.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can you take out quarter and we'll just say the alternate will serve until the senator is off of academic leave?
And another thing, just subject verb agreement in line A. I don't know if that's super important, but senator and they is, yeah,
Pardon me, can you read that one part?
it's fine. It's all good. Yeah.
One more thing.
You're right.
President Romano, is that language agreeable with you?
We'll serve that until the senator? Can we just say we'll serve
We'll serve
until? And then I also have another amendment, but do we have to vote on this one first?
This one first, unless it's like specific for, then we'll make a motion after that. Did you make the changes? President Romano, are you okay with the language?
Yes.
Cool. Motion on the floor is to amend the presented legislation for the bylaw amendment to read Section 5A, subsection Part B. When a senator is on academic leave, the chair will contact the alternate. The alternate will serve until the senator is off of academic leave. Is there a second to this motion? Second by Senator Pereira. Is there any discussion or debate on this item? There's one. Is there anyone else? Then we will let. Is that? Yeah. Okay. There is two queues. We'll start with. Is it two? No. Start with Senator Willis.
Okay. So this change would defeat the purpose of the change that we originally made to the bylaw, which is the point of changing it so that it was distinct from censorship, was that so the alternate wouldn't be contacted. To address a little bit of Julia's point, it's an assumption, but it's also like a standard. In the event that 7 senators didn't meet the academic standard, which would be the only time, which would be not meeting quorum. I don't think that's happened this year. And in the event that 7 people actually didn't get a 2.0, which is the standard, which is something I wanted to raise because that's very low too. I think as elected officials, we should be held to a higher standard than a 2.0. That's a very low standard to make. But in the event that 7 couldn't make it, I think that would be a problem with the association. And I don't think, the point of not having the alternate be contacted was that the Senate would still be able to meet quorum if 1 or 2 senators perhaps didn't meet the academic standard, whereas with executive cabinet, they only have 5. So if 1 were to not make it, that's why Senate would have put an alternate. But for this basically makes academic leave the same as vacancy if the alternate is going to be contacted. So it would defeat the purpose of the original changes that LRC recommended.
Any discussion on this item? I believe Senator. Okay. President Romano.
The reason why I wanted to amend it to say this is because I think it'd be kind of wasteful on our part to have maybe multiple senators who just leave the seats vacant, where we could potentially have just 13 people voting when really there's many people who run in elections who want to serve ASUCR and who want to serve the student body, and to leave a voting seat vacant when they represent their college, that's the main duty of the senator. I think it'd be really wasteful to have only filling the horseshoe with 15 or 14 or 13 instead of the 16 that is within our Constitution.
All right, let's open the queue, then close the queue. I saw Senator Posing's name up, and so we'll start with him. You have Senator Thielhart, Senator Pereira. Last call for anyone else here. Senator Vargas.
I have something to say, but on a different topic.
On the topic? Is it on this motion?
No, on this motion.
Then you're still on the queue for the main motion, is that okay? Anyone else? Then the queue reads for this motion, Senator Boson, then Senator Pereira, then, is it the right one? Thank you. Senator Boson, Senator Thielhart, Senator Pereira, then Senator Vargas.
I just want to say that I see your point, Corey, and I agree with you that the standards should be met. However, I also agree with Julie in the sense that just because you don't foresee something happening doesn't mean that it cannot happen. Just because you think it should not happen doesn't mean that it's not a possibility. So in order to provide, I guess, room for that possibility or to rectify that possibility, you should have such language included. Because you're basically making a subjective statement that this ought not, this shouldn't happen, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. There could be 7 senators that have unforeseen circumstances, and as a result, the Senate is incomplete. We're unable to make quorum. So I agree with you on a subjective basis, but from her point of view, you should not make a bylaw based on a subjective assumption of what could take place.
Let's try and just all comments to the chair, please, and not address.
I mean, it was very clear. Okay, whatever.
Thank you, Councilor Taken. Moving on in the queue, Senator Thielhart.
I think it's also important to remember, while we may have 16 senators, 2 of them directly represent BCOE, so we'd be, if like both BCOE senators managed to get put on active leave, BCOE would not have a voice on this board. And the same thing, we only have 4 for CNAS. It would be a lot harder for CHAS if we do have 10, but to think about the other colleges with less representation on this board, I think we do have to consider the fact that they deserve representation here. And if those senators do get put on active leave, and I do believe they probably have a tendency to get put on active leave a lot more than the CHAS senators, I think it's kind of a dangerous route we might go, denying certain colleges their duly elected representative.
Senator Pereira.
I agree with all that was said. I also think that this addition would allow whoever was in the position who has gotten academic the opportunity to raise their GPA and get back where they could be and then go back into the office position. So that way the office isn't vacant, but they also have the opportunity to reclaim their office instead of it being vacant and you're going to the next person. Because that's how it works, right? You go to the next person and then it would be that person's sole job from that point on, right? Yeah, so it offers like a type of redemption. So.
Senator Vargas.
I agree with all statements. I don't have anything else to say.
Perfect. Thank you for keeping the debate focused. On that note, let's move it to a vote.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I thought that, yeah.
Sure, we'll end with you.
I have a quick question. So, sorry, I do apologize. So for ECAP, it would be appointing a temporary officer, so it could be anyone, but for Senate, it would be strictly an alternate.
To clarify, so right now, on the main motion, the proposed language is appointing a temporary officer.
Time.
I move to extend time by 10 minutes.
The motion extend time by 10 minutes, seconded by Senator Perez. Any objections? Seeing none, time will be extended by 10 minutes. To address your question, Senator Chow, so in the proposed language, the main motion is to appoint a officer by the process that it describes. If you all wish to change that, you can do so after this motion is done. The motion on the table right now is to
keep
language to contact the alternate.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And Senator Willis, I'll let you in, then we'll move this to a vote.
Okay. So I would say my personal recommendation would be the issue, and yeah, the point well taken about like other colleges not meeting it. I would personally make it just that quorum is not met and the alternate is contacted. But if that's going to be the case, I would say just scrapping the change altogether and just calling this vacancy instead of having it be academic leave, and that way the procedures for vacancy would just go as is. That way, because it's already going to be a vacant spot, the alternate is contacted, it may as well just be the procedure for vacancy. So just changing this so that it matches the constitutional definition of vacancy. And just defining it so the vacancy is only for a quarter. For academic purposes, only for a quarter.
Points well taken. See no more comments, let's move this to a vote. So
we have more people on here?
we have 2 new directors.
The main motion?
Hmm?
For the main motion?
No, yeah. So the motion on the table right now is to add the change into section 5, part A, subsection 2. When a senator is on academic leave, the chair will contact the alternate. The alternate will serve until the senator is off of academic leave. We've had debate, we have discussion. We now move this to a vote.
Just like a personal opinion, we're making a ton of changes to this, and I don't feel like that's the purpose of our board. In my personal opinion, we should table this and send it back to LRC at this point.
Your point is well taken. If this does get shot down, then you can just bring it up in LRC again. But right now, we're ready before a vote. But there's nothing wrong with saying no or abstaining and letting it shut down and bringing it up. There's nothing wrong with saying no. But right now, we're on a vote. Your point is well taken, Senator Thielhart. So we have a discussion, we have debate. Again, the motion is to add into the language, when center is on academic leave, the chair will contact the alternate. The alternate will serve until the alternate resume their duties. Sorry, the alternate will serve until the center is off of academic leave. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Senator Wilson, was your hand up? Okay. All in favor one more time, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any abstain? 2.
3.
3?
Yes.
3. So the vote is 4, 4, 0. I'm sorry, 3. In this case, I will vote aye, and the change will stand. Moving back to the main motion. I believe President Romano, your floor.
I move to table this bylaw.
There's a motion to table this bylaw. Seconded by, who seconded? Seconded by Senator Chan. Motion to table the entire bylaw?
Yeah, the entire bylaw.
Entire bylaw change, suggestion, item on changes on chapter 24, academic standards. There's a motion, there's a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
If you have anything to add to this, please come to LRC because it's just like a few senators of us doing it on the committee. Oh, yeah. But can you give us your input? So yeah, email President Pro Tempore with us. Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right. The item hasn't been tabled yet. We're still on discussion on this. Any discussion on the president's motion? Seeing none, let's move to a vote. All in favor of tabling this item? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any opposed? Any abstain? Then the motion is adopted unanimously and this item will be tabled. Moving on to the next item. Potential discuss take action on Chapter 9, the ASUCR President Bylaw. Would you want President Rana, would you like to present?
Sure. So not much has changed. Everything's kind of at the bottom. So I just made it consistent to say serve as a member or appointed as a need to. Some of them had already had that, so I just made that consistent. And then there's some stuff I removed, like the Parents Association. There's been no need for me to go to that, but there's a lot of need for me to go to the Alumni Association, which is part of that one. That's on the other page now. Could you go back? Wait, no. Yeah, so, thank you. So the J, serve as the chair of the ASUCR Officers Cabinet. It is a repeat because it says it right in the line before. Going to G, the one that's crossed out. The City Task Force Committee doesn't meet anymore. Sorry. Well, I don't know if it is. Okay. So it's not part of my duties, so it should be removed. And then just, yeah, changing the lettering. And can you go down a little bit too, please? Yeah, so Y is just saying shall provide sexual assault and sexual harassment prevention training. You all can read that. So that's something that was provided for the Senate in the late summer, early fall. So I just thought it should be consistent. And then for Z, in talking with some of the ethnic and gender resource centers, they mentioned that they provide cultural competency training, and I know that's something that came up with our Senate, but something that never really happened. So I think that this should happen within either the end of summer or the beginning of fall, 2 weeks before, 2 weeks into the fall quarter at latest. And I think that would really help provide better understanding for the Senate on sexual assault awareness, bystander intervention, cultural competency. So I think it's beneficial for you all and us all. And that's it. That's all the changes. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Can you keep going down? I forgot. I have other officers. Keep going. Yeah. So then this one I totally struck. It's not a position that I staffed this year. It's not a paid position, the public relations one, because my historian and I work together on public relations, so that was the reasoning for that. Can you go down a little bit farther, please? Okay. Is that it? Okay. Yeah, so that's it.
Vice President, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to let you all know, since Ashley struck that really shouldn't be under the president's bylaws anyway. I'm going to be including it in my bylaws, and I'm going to be coming to you in the next couple of weeks data complete committee with a director funded for the community and the city. And so you'll be seeing that coming up soon.
Cool. Any questions or comments for the president? Seeing.
I can make a motion. Oh, I move to strike section 4, subsection D due to redundancy. It says perform any other system duties as requested by the president. There's even a little note that says repetitive subsection A, isn't it? But I don't know if it was reflected in there. Yeah. So that's like officially the bylaw right now is repetitive section A, isn't it?
There's a motion on the table.
That's fine, if you strike that, strike D, that's fine with me.
There's a motion on the table to strike section D of section 4 of these bylaws. Is there a second? Second by Senator Pereira. Is there any questions, debates, or discussion on this item? Seeing none, let's move to a quick vote. All in favor of striking these on the proposed amendment? Any opposed? Any abstain? 2 abstentions, thank you. And I believe 9 yeses, ayes, and no noes. On that note, the amendment is perfected. Moving on to the main amendment, or main motion. Is there a main motion? Is there a main motion? Yes.
We don't have to make any type of motion to change all those little letters on the side, right? So it's got section D, so like everything else, the next one would be D, and then blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. That's just we included as a typo. And we'll have one of the parliamentarian or the secretary fix that. But yes, thank you. Your point is in good order. President Rohan, would you like to make a motion?
Wait, did you? No, it's okay. I move to approve the updated president bylaws.
There's a motion to approve the updated president bylaws. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Seconded by Senator Fihal. Is there any discussion or debate on this item? Seeing none, let's move this to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? The motion is approved unanimously. Moving on to Senate, we'll discuss take action on finals week resolution. I believe the author is Senator Fihal. Do you mind if I Senator Fihal, your floor. In order as well, for resolutions, generally, you just read the resolve, and it's taken as notice that like everyone's read the whereases and then the homer. So Senator, would you mind just reading the whereases, or the resolve, please?
I'm trying to bring it up on my phone real quick.
Okay.
As a request, can you repost the link for the open things? Because the link over here still requires permission.
Change to be changed.
Do you think when you change it, or if you still like,
Yeah. Are you accessing from the ASUCR for me?
With what?
Are you accessing from the ASUCR?
Yes. Yeah.
Try it again. Senator Fihal, your floor.
All right, so this is the resolution in support of ensuring fair final exam scheduling. I'm going to just read the whereas because I like them. Whereas a final exam is meant to be a last review of the materials and assessment of the knowledge that a student has gained from a corresponding course meant to come at the end of instruction. Whereas a final according to the UC Riverside schedule of classes is defined as a final written examination, a term paper, a final oral examination, a take-home examination, or another evaluation device. Whereas the University of California sets aside an entire week without regular instruction meant for final exam.
I thought we were just doing that.
He said he wanted to.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I just want to go on. Whereas the University of California, Santa Barbara officially sanctions a dead week during week 10 where the giving of any examination is strongly discouraged, especially giving 2 examinations in the same course within the time span of dead week and finals week. Whereas, according to a survey done by the Associated Students of UC Riverside, over 90% of UC Riverside students surveyed were in favor of having their final examinations only be scheduled during a university-scheduled finals week. Whereas students reported that finals taking place during week 10, a time in which other classes are still regularly scheduled, caused them undue stress and affected their grades. Whereas according to the Academic Senate regulations for the University of California, Riverside, there are no regulations for when and how a final exam is given. Whereas other campuses within the University of California have regulations requiring that final exams be kept to finals week without prior approval. Whereas following a meeting between JAS Dean Milagros Pena and members of the Associate Students of UC Riverside, the Dean expressed sympathy and support for keeping finals during finals week. Whereas some professors and other faculty may attempt to circumvent any policy regarding finals by labeling an exam during week 10 as a midterm. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Associate Students of UCR condemn any professors or faculty that schedule an exam during week 10 that effectively serves as a final exam and label it as anything else. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Associate Students of UCR call upon the UCR administration to bring its policy regarding finals to be brought in line with other campuses within the University of California system. Therefore, let it be finally resolved, the ASUCR call upon the Academic Senate to amend the regulations for exam to better ensure that exams are administered in a fair manner that does not affect a student's wellness or potentially cause them to neglect their regularly scheduled classes.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion?
Well, first I want to motion something, because there was some debate on, in the first therefore, that condemn was too strong of a word. So I've looked up some synonyms for condemn to hopefully change it. So recommending censure, criticize, denounce, revile, blame, chastise, berate, recommend, rebuke, reprove, or if we're going to go informal, there's slam and blast, and then a formal one is castigate.
I like formally rebuke, but that's just me. Senator, if you'd like to make any suggestions.
Blast.
I think condemn is fine.
Yeah,
I was personally inspired to condemn, but multiple people have complained about condemn. What? It was brought up in LRC, and
I was there. It's not right to
Oh, I think Lori brought it up.
Oh, okay.
And then earlier today, Taylor.
Yeah, I think it
had issues with it.
It wasn't an ad lib.
Alright, order, please, order.
Sounds religious.
Director.
Well, I think condemn is a really fine word considering all of the implications that giving an exam in week 10 contains. It could potentially cause a student to receive a lower grade in another class. They're not just affecting their own class, they're affecting students in every other classes. So I think condemn is strong, yes, but it should be strong.
Point well taken. Senator, I'm curious real quickly, what form of condemnation would this look like?
I mean, I don't think we're gonna like specifically call someone out by name at Senate meetings, but like,
Let's do it.
Corey's in favor of that, but I mean, I just think it's a way of saying that we strongly discourage that and.
Okay, well, it's still your item, and it's still your floor. Senator, would you like to change the word, or would you like to present it as?
I'd like to present it as is, and I motion to approve the, I move to approve the resolution regarding fair finals week scheduling.
There's a motion to approve the finals week resolution. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Vargas. Let's open the queue. I saw some hands out. Is there anyone who wishes to discuss and debate on this item?
I just had a question.
Yes.
So the last one calls on the Academic Senate. Who's sitting on the Educational Policy Committee, the Academic Senate Educational Policy Committee?
I don't think any of the senators are, but I know Angelica Tan sits on the academic senate, like, as a student representative.
Okay, because if you're gonna ask the academic, it's important to have student representation on those committees first of all, and second of all, this is something that you could bring up to them that they could do in those meetings. So, I'm just recommending that if we have it in our power and we wanna see this happen, which it's awesome, it's just, we need to make sure that we're sitting on committees that can actually make that kind of change.
Your point is well taken. Would you like to see that somewhere like in this motion, or would you just like that to be, make sure that happens after the result of this resolution?
Let it be resolved that the ASUCR, a representative from the ASUCR Senate actively advocates for this resolution on the Academic Senate committees enabling educational policy.
I'm assuming that's you made a motion for that, right? Vice President?
I'm motioning to include that. Thank you.
Can you repeat one more time for the parliamentarians?
Let it be resolved that an ASUCR representative, or a representative from the ASUCR Senate, is what I said originally. Senate advocates for this bill, or advocates for this, this resolution, with academic, or on academic senate committees, namely educational.
Go ahead.
Advocates for this resolution on academic senate committees, on academic senate committees. Namely, educational policy. Educational policy should be utilized.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
There is a motion to amend the resolution. Is there a second to the motion with the language?
I second that motion.
Second by Senator Theodore. Is there any discussion debate on this amendment to the resolution? Senator Chow?
He changed it.
Anyone else? Senator Pereira, and then we'll end with President Arano.
One very small thing. Can you change that period to commas? It's small.
Of course. President Arano.
I think this is a good addition to it, but I think that a senator is already supposed to be sitting on that committee, because I know last year when I was the personnel director, the academic senate sent me a list of every single committee that only senators were able to sit on, because those senators were supposed to be the student voice on it, so those committees weren't supposed to be open to the general population. So I'm not sure if maybe academic senate did it differently or worked with Emily differently on it, but there should already be a senator sitting on every single academic senate committee, including the educational policy committee.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does the language contradict that at all?
No, it doesn't contradict that. It just kind of reaffirms that there already is supposed to be a senator on there. So it would just need to be affirmed that next year that senators are put on the academic senate committee. Can I ask a question? Are any senators sitting on academic senate?
There's a couple senators in class.
So Alan maybe sits on all of them? Because there's like 15.
No, Kat doesn't sit on it, no.
All right, hands please, order. I need to address to the president's question that I didn't know. We'll start with Senator David, Senator Theodore, then Senator Schaefer. Real quick, please.
To my knowledge, it's Angelica Tan from the Internal Affairs sitting on Academic Senate.
I heard you say that, but it's supposed to be a senator.
Okay, well, then that's something.
Thank you, Senator Theodore.
Yeah, I'll ask, I'll figure it out. So, but this is fine. That addition's fine.
Senator Theodore?
Me and Josh are supposed to sit on the CHAS exec committee. They've never contacted.
That's not enough.
I'm pretty sure it's a subcommittee of
No.
the academic senate. No?
Yeah, sorry, the academic senate committee is like something different, and they're supposed to send to the personnel director a list of all of them, and then the personnel director is supposed to put one senator on each one. So I know last year, every senator sat on a different academic senate committee, so, because it's like a required thing.
Vice President Schaefer.
So you're right, the executive committee is an academic senate committee. It's just like a subcommittee of the academic senate. And those are really important, and students should be sitting on those because only one student is able to, and you all get the privilege to be able to be that student. And they decide a lot of things that are really important, so it's just kind of a sidebar. But educational policy, like they've like almost made the decision to combine BCOE and CNETs before. So like huge decisions that affect students on a large scale that students can actually have a voice on. And so this would just kind of ensure that hopefully if there's no one sitting on that committee now, that they hopefully will be according to this resolution, and that if there is someone that's great, then they can be advocating for this specifically in that committee.
Let's move back to the motion at hand. I believe Senator Schaefer was on next on queue, so we should be good. Did I miss anyone? Not the main one, this motion, no. Yeah. Seeing no more discussion or comment, let's move this motion to a vote. The motion on the table is to add the amendment to the resolution that therefore there be resolved. A representative from the ASUCR Senate advocates for this resolution on academic Senate committees, namely education policy. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing none, this motion is unanimously passed. And move back to the main motion. I believe there was a main motion made by Senator Thielhart, seconded by someone or you. And we will move into more discussion or debate on this item. Yes, Senator Chapman.
I see that you spoke to the Jazz Dean, Milagros Peña. By any chance, did you speak with any C9 deans on this project?
No, I originally was authoring this bill specifically just to pertain to jazz.
Okay.
And then when I was investigating other schools, I learned that it was like a school-wide academic policy. So I decided just to make it an entire college-wide.
Then,
or school-wide.
I guess just being a CNS major, I advise you shop to like the labs, because labs specifically can only have their finals on Fridays before. Okay, so if labs aren't included, then
There is a section from all the other schools, that's why I said bring it in line with the other schools' policies, where with prior approval from the academic senate for that college, or like the academic board for that college, they can't schedule a final during the weekend. So I believe if a lab final needs to be prior to finals week, they can schedule it.
Thank you. Any last discussion debate on this motion, and we'll move to vote? Yes, Senator Pereira.
I would just like to yield my time to anyone in the galley to speak on the matter.
Anyone in the galley who wishes to take time to speak on this matter? Seeing none, let's move forward to a vote then. All in favor of adopting the finals week resolution? Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing none, this resolution is adopted. Congratulations, Senator Thielhart. Moving on to Senate will discuss and take action on the ASUCR Student Voice Committee. President Moore, would you like to present this item?
All right, so it's something that the president worked on that we had talked about before, about creating more cohesion between the branches. So for this committee, Student Voice Committee, it includes the President Pro Tempore, so the legislative branch, the Chief Justice from the judicial branch, as well as, I forget if it's the president. Yeah, the president as non-voting members. So student concern basically will be funneled through those 3 representatives from each branch, and as well as 4 undergraduate students and 2 graduate students, and they would meet. Yeah, 9 members, 6 voting, and the 3 ACT representatives would be non-voting members. And the president and the 3 ASUCR reps would count as would be the only permanent members. Yeah, President Hart, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I really hope it passes. The Chancellor's Office has agreed on their end to participate with this committee. So as Corey said, the 3 ASUCR representatives would hear feedback from the 6 students, grad and undergrad, and then would take those issues to campus administration to kind of build, I guess, like a way to have students able to communicate with the Chancellor's Office and not just having it only open to the ASUCR office. But yeah, we're really excited about this. The GSA is on board with this too. So yeah, that's pretty, Corey covered all of it. So thank you, Corey.
William, would you like any motions, sir? What did you say?
I was the small grammatical thing. Section 2, subsection A, subsection A. Under create, there's just 2 C's.
I got you.
Thank you.
You mentioned you crossed out 2020 in one of the changes, and there's one also above, right there. Would you, would you want to leave that in there?
No, we can strike it.
Yeah, we can use it.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep that as a grammatical error, so I won't need a motion. There is no main motion on the floor yet, just so we're on the same page. I saw Senator Boson first, then we'll go to Senator Thielhart, and then we'll recognize the ex officio. Senator Boson.
Could we add the chair of the diversity council to that committee list so that there can be representation from the ethnic and gender departments within that committee as well?
Thielhart and Senator, you can make Any motion your heart desires.
So I move to add the chair of the diversity council to that committee list, so that there can be representation from the ethic and gender departments in our campus.
Can you be a little more specific? So is this where you want them to be?
So when it has a list of all the members that will serve in the committee, so just adding the chair of the diversity council to that list.
To clarify, would you want this to be a voting or non-voting?
Voting.
Voting, okay. And again, make sure this clarifies 10. The suggested change it would change the voting members. Their motion on the table is to make the suggestion to add the chair diversity council to this committee as a voting member. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Chan. Let's move this to debate discussion. A discussion or debate on this amendment. We're Senator Willis, Senator David, Senator Pura in that order. Senator Willis, your floor.
Oh yes, so upon adding the diversity council chair, I would question if they should be voting or non-voting, just because I feel like they would be equal in terms of purpose to the other representatives from the other branches in terms of representing those communities, and the undergraduate students would be still the voting ones. So that'd be my only recommendation, would be to have it be non-voting.
Moving next to Senator David.
I just figured having this chair position on there, if it kind of questions the importance of like other committees like the food security, like whether they should be sitting on this too as well. It's huge. Huh?
Pardon me, can you repeat that last part?
It's okay.
Are you sure?
Did it make sense? Did that make sense? Okay. I just felt really stuck. I was like, it was valid. Having like only the diversity chair on there, I don't know how to word it, but
Like,
shouldn't
like
there
other
be other
modular
chairs
committees.
too from the other?
Voting one.
Your point is well taken. We'll move down the queue to Senator Pura.
So yeah, I definitely agree with both those points. Question for Ashley.
Yes.
You said that the chancellor agreed to these terms of this council. Would changing these terms mean that you'd have to actually check with him beforehand to see if he's okay with the change, and then go for it?
I feel like the chancellor and his group, because he's going to have himself and then he's going to appoint 2 other administrators to be a part of that. Probably Vice Chancellor Jim Sandoval would be one of them. But I think he'd be understanding of the need for it. But personally, I do agree with what Christina's saying. The intention of it was to have students be able to speak with the three main branches of ASUCR. And the reason we did it with the Chief Justice, the Pro Temp, and the Student Body President is because they represent like their branches. So that was the reason for not including any committees. But it's up to what you all see best fit too, but I think the chancellor would be understanding, but just always knowing that it's always hard to form meetings when the numbers keep continually going up.
Yes. Moving down the queue on this for the amendment to the amendment.
I have a question. Can they serve as ex officios members instead for the committee chair and also for the...
Non-voting members are considered like more or less.
So can they be...
The main motion is to make them a voting member. We can make an amendment to the, sorry, not the motion. The motion on the table is to make them a voting member. You can talk to the maker of the motion, or we can just vote this down and we vote it again as a non-voting.
Oh, it's not...
No, I just put that as a conversation.
Yeah, it is right now as a standard voting. Anyone else who wishes to speak on this amendment to the motion on the table?
Oh, this is related to that, and then also a little bit different, which is that as it stands right now, there's only 6, so there's also no tie-breaking vote.
That's why I said like the 7.
Yeah, so I don't know if it could be the diversity council person or one of the other. I don't know how you decide that, but just as it stands right now, there's no tie-break.
That's point well taken. Let's move this to a vote before we start going in circles again. So the motion on the table is to change the amendment to include a chair of diversity, the chair of diversity council as a voting member and increase the members of the committees. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? Is it 5-5?
It's 4 or 5.
Was 4-5?
I I didn't see it because I
Yeah,
didn't.
can we do all in favor, please? Hands high.
It's fine.
Five.
It was
Any opposed? Thanks, Casey. Any abstain? Vote is 5-0, and
Share.
the tiebreaker will be.
Gotta be
Okay, I'm not
twice in the same video.
I'm not going to go ahead, don't worry. It's fine. Give us a second more.
I think we don't
Let's
Yeah,
lobby
the
them.
No, yes, I'm gonna vote yes on this, and we'll go back to the main motion.
Main motion.
Yes,
I was next in queue on the main motion.
I believe you are, but I believe it's still Senator Wilson's floor. It's your time. Do you need the motion to make, or anything else you want?
I yield my time.
Cool. Senator Thielhard.
So I just think that section 5, part B is kind of like a scary thing. That's the part where it says that any change to the bylaws in this must be like, the only way the changes to this bylaw can be submitted to LRC is by a 2/3 vote of this committee. And like, I don't know, I think that's a little scary.
Would you like any motions?
I move to strike section 5, part B from this bylaw.
Any chance you'd be interested in making the motion?
Why? Like, sorry, I'll wait for my turn.
Every motion must be heard. If it is second, then we go straight to discussion debate, which is where we discuss, and then we go to a quick vote. Okay. Any chance? Yeah. The motion on the table is to strike Part B of Section 5, the bylaws changes. Is there a second to this motion? Seconded by Senator Chow. Let's move this to discussion debate. I believe President Hirano was up there. Does anyone else wish to talk on this suggested change? Vice President, wow, all the vice presidents. Any senators? Saying none, we'll go with President Hirano.
I'll go last.
We'll go with Vice President Schaefer, then Vice President Irvin, then President Hirano.
Yeah, I was just wondering like why you wanted that, because if you're in support of the committee and you see like the value in having that committee, then like in the future, like the reason that's there is because in the future, if potentially someone wanted to change this committee and changes the intent of the committee without it going to the committee first, then, and that being reviewed by the committee first, then that could be detrimental to the future of the committee. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably the reasoning behind why that's there. So I just wanted to
You might find it very address any concerns.
Yeah.
The next one on queue, Vice President Irvin.
Yeah, I'll probably take a bit of a different tack, and only that we have it as a pretty common thing that if it's going to be a committee under the purview of Senate, because this is a subordinate committee, that it should be up to you all in deciding if, like, having the final say and being able to adapt perhaps the intent or will of a committee. And of course, I wouldn't expect that anybody here would do this without consulting members of the committee. We of course work together on that, but it should be understood like officially that that power should lie with the Senate. And that's like where my reasoning comes from.
President Hirano?
Well, the power still does lie with Senate and with LRC. It says it in the very end of it. So basically, the only reason that this is in there is so that the committee is consulted with before a bylaw is changed. There's only now 7 if that this change, wait, did the change pass? Yeah. Okay, so if this is all approved, then there's 7 voting members. So 2/3, like really isn't that many students going. It's not a unanimous vote, it's just 2/3. And it's just a committee agreeing that maybe the intention changes of the committee or something changes. So that was the reason in it, to keep it like sort of like a permanent committee so that it wouldn't end just after, I graduate. And it would still follow the regular process that all other committees go through, going through LRC and then coming to Senate for you all to vote on. So that it doesn't, having this in there doesn't really change the role of Senate in changing bylaws.
Senator Thielhard, I'll let you name before we move this to vote.
I just feel like it's a dangerous precedent to set of having a committee basically being the only ones that can even submit any suggested changes to our bylaws, because I don't feel like there's any other committee or anywhere else in our bylaws that is like that. So I'm just in the opinion that this is kind of like, it could set precedent for other committees just trying to become more protective of themselves. And then these committees essentially are operating almost independent from ASUCR, because the only way we can change their bylaws is if they want them to change it, so they're able to act within their own abilities.
I don't want to get too redundant in this, but let's open the queue one more time, then we'll close the queue finally, and move this directly into a vote. Anyone who wishes to be on the queue, please say so now. Did you want to be in the queue? Okay. Then it'll just be President Romano and Senator Thielhart on off chance. Do you want to be in the queue? Just in case? Sure. And then that'll be it.
I believe, I'm not 100% sure just because I don't have my computer in front of me, but the ASUCR Chancellor's Committee for Sexual Harassment and Sexual Violence Prevention, I think it does have something like this in there already, where this committee does, the ASUCR Chancellor's Committee would have to vote to change the bylaws before it comes to the Senate. So I'd have to check because I don't have my computer in front of me, but I think there is another committee that does do that.
Diversity. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I wasn't quite sure. But since you said you were quite good.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure, I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure mine does, and if Dashawn's pretty sure Diversity Council does, and then there are other committees that do this, and yeah.
Senator Thielhart, any comment?
No, I made the point I wanted to make.
Thank you. Let's move forward to a vote. The motion on the table is to strike Section B of Section 5 of the Student Voice Committee bylaws. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? Vote is Yeah, can we do it one more time? Sorry, my mistake. All in favor of these bylaw changes? Any opposed? Any abstain? Vote is 1, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I'm surprised to notice.
Well, we can't talk about it.
Vote is 1, 4, 5, and on that note, the motion fails. Move forward to the main motion. Yes.
I have a question. Well, I have a question for, is it okay if I address the person?
Ask your question, I think, so I'll join you.
What is the purpose of judicial or the Chief Justice sitting on this committee? Because as previously mentioned, the legislative as well as ECAP are more of a proactive branch, while judicial is a more reactive branch. The mission of this committee seems like it's voicing student concerns and student needs, and I'm not sure why, not saying that Chief Justice doesn't do that sort of things, but it just doesn't, what would be their purpose essentially being on this committee?
Yeah, I understand your sentiments, but the only reason was because we're a 3-branch system and just have one person from each branch.
Okay.
I believe next on the queue after Senator Thielhart was judicial. Can you remember your position again? Sorry, Amelia.
Wait, what?
Advocate General, thank you. The Advocate General.
I had 2 points from the judicial that they wanted me to bring up. That was actually, she just brought it up just before I was about to, so thank you. The secondary point was that if we were going to include the judicial Chief Justice, they're wondering if they could add in or someone designated from the Judicial Council, because sometimes the Chief Justice is too busy, or say.
Let's respect the floor, please. General Advocate.
You guys get the idea. Or there's questions.
Like a point designee.
Yes. Is there any comments on the Advocate General Senator Wilson? I saw Director, and then I saw Senator Wilson.
Yeah, I have a motion.
Your motion? Do you mind if we wait the motion to
Yeah,
make it? Yes. Director.
President was on it. President Pro Tempore is on it. Chief Justice should be on it. It should not be designated.
All right. Senator.
I was actually going to motion to add that language to the Diversity Council chair part as well. No?
Which part?
Or designee. I mean, because that is a valid point that oftentimes the chair of the committee cannot always make it, so it should be.
Designee? Yeah, that's done. Do you mind if I take it as a grammatical thing? So you don't have to go
I
through it?
mind if you take it as a grammatical change.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. Can you repeat that?
I personally mind if it is changed to designate.
Designate?
So
Okay,
I'd rather
that's
have
well in your
Senate
power.
vote
Let's
on
make
it
it.
than to have it be a grammatical change.
No, that's well in your power. Let's make it to an actual motion then.
So I motion to add or designate to, I move whatever. I move to add designate to, is that line item D of section A. Section 3. Well,
designee to section D of section 3 of these bylaw amendments.
Or designate.
Is there a second to this motion?
Designate.
Designate.
Designate, my mistake, thank you.
I second.
You're right.
Second by Senator
Second.
Second by Senator Chow. Who's discussion? Is there any discussion on this item? Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so one, I was just looking through it too, so A, there actually is something about tie breaking. Sorry, I'll relate this to this. But it says in the event of a tie, but again, there's 6 people, so there couldn't be a tie. And then B, what?
There's 7 now.
Well, yeah, assuming this goes through. And then, I was gonna say, I forgot. Can I come back?
Sure. Yes. Okay.
If you're adding in, sending in a designate for one position, you might as well add it to all of them, and then at that point, I think it's becoming a moot point.
Point is well taken. Last in the queue, President Ryan.
Yeah, the point of this whole thing was to have students report to the branches of ASUCR. So I know you all already voted on the diversity council one. That's fine, I get it. But if you all decided that the chair of the diversity council needs to sit on it, then there should not be a designate that can take its place. Just as there wouldn't hopefully be a designate that would take the president's, the pro temp, or the chief justice's place. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. It defeats the purpose.
All right, let's open the queue and in the queue one more time. We'll start with President Pro Tempore, Senator Jackson, and we'll end with Senator Bosin, who made the motion.
All right, so yeah, to sort of go off faster, we're gonna do a designee for diversity council, not the chair. You might as well just do designees for all of them, like just from the president's office. Like it's not gonna be like the main representative. Yeah, well, yeah, if you're not gonna be the main representative, then you might as well just designate for all of them. And then two, like most of these meetings are once a quarter, and I know people are busy, but these are not like calling for 5 weeks, like it's once a quarter, and I think collaboratively between everyone they can make time. I'm pretty sure we all go to meetings, and I mean, yeah, you miss meetings sometimes, but once a quarter I think is very reasonable to ask.
Senator Jackson.
I agree with everything that Corey just said, and I yield my time to one of the galleries.
Senator Bosin.
I yield my time.
Let's move this to a vote.
She yielded her time.
I yielded my time to the gallery.
Oh, sorry. My mistake then. Anyone in the gallery who wishes to address the board at this time? Hello, darling.
So,
Hello, Sharon.
I think one of the main points of this committee too is to really streamline student action. And so if we have designees for every position, it makes it harder because then they have to report to the actual head of that branch. And if all the heads of the branch are already there, it makes it a lot easier to directly address the concerns and make the most out of the students' time as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. Senator Wilson?
I yield my time.
Let's move this to a vote. Motion on the floor is to add the word designee into the highlighted changes on the screen. All in favor?
You commented through vote.
All right, please, let's order, please. There's no laughing during a vote. I don't want anyone to be intimidated or socially pressured to vote either way. There's nothing wrong with voting yes or voting no or abstaining. Now, all in favor of adding the word designee after that item right there? Any? Which one? Any opposed? Any abstain? Seeing none, the motion fails and we move back to the main motion. I believe Director Ray just made the last comment. General Advocate, I believe is still I believe you just made the last one. You had a comment on about the judicial. To remind ex officios, you have the power to make motions if you so choose.
May I make a motion to add or designate to the judicial branch chief justice?
There's a motion to add designate after the word chief justice in the proposed bylaws. Is there a second to this motion? Second by Senator David. Is there any discussion, debate on this item? General Advocate, would you like to make a opening closing statement?
Not in particular, I believe I've already explained it.
Order, please. Let's move this to a quick vote. All in favor of adding the word designate after the Chief Justice bylaw or section? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? The vote is 0-10-0. On that note, the motion fails. Moving back to the main motion. I believe that was left on the queue in the main motion. Are we ready to move this to a vote? Any last? Yes.
It's a really small spot change. Section 3, it says 6 and then parentheses 7. Should change to 7. But, yeah. Just small changes. Small, like 5 or 4 years.
On that same line, there's also a 6 in parentheses that's just like floating there.
And then 9 and it
Well,
says F.
you should get rid of the parentheses on
Yes, it's like 7.
Why is it 7?
Oh, sorry. It should be 7 voting left. Shouldn't the second 7 just be removed?
Exactly.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And from what I can tell, those are all still just grammatical errors, which we won't need a motion for. Is there any other grammatical errors that we should take note of? Okay, then let's move this to the floor. Yes. All you, Senator.
Okay. Well, actually, it's sort of a discussion. Yeah, so I don't know if you would want to make under section 3, subsection B, subsection B, it has the president, the pro temp, and the chief justice being permanent members. I don't know if you want to make diversity council chair a permanent member, as well as there's no actual process for nominating the chair. So
the process, I believe, is right there. Actually, the chair shall be chosen within the committee.
Where is it?
It says so.
Who's it nominated by the committee?
Chair's president shall be chair of the committee. Yeah, who shall be nominated?
The diversity council is a voting member, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that they should be treated like the 4 undergrad and 2 grad students.
Okay.
If they're non-voting, because the reason is like the permanence aspect of it, and the chair would still be a voting member. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess the only reason that I was doing that is because for the permanent, since the other ones are like positions that are going to be the position for the year, and the chair would be 2. I don't know for the undergraduate students how that would work, because that I assume the president and the chair and everything will be like year-long seats.
Yeah, I'm fine with adding that in, but then I also think that the diversity council chair then should be non-voting. But I'm fine with adding it in just because it is like the permanence aspect of it. But if you want to make that motion, then that's fine.
All you. What do you want to do?
Oh, I mean, I was going to move the table just because there's a lot more discussion now than when it came to LRC originally.
We're literally almost done.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we changed, so I would prefer not to table it.
Oh, well, I mean, it seemed like there was more, but if it's just that one, then yeah, I'd move to make the diversity chair a permanent member as well. Or to amend section 3, part B, subsection B, to include the chair of the diversity council as a permanent member.
Are they not a permanent member?
No. Well, because we just added
We
it.
just added it. Is that your member?
Well, the 6 students wouldn't be permanent for the rest.
For their term, wouldn't they?
Well, what permanent means is like in 3 years, the president, pro temp, and chief justice will still sit on the committee no matter who that person is. And so what Corey's saying is no matter who the diversity council chair is, that chair will always sit on this committee.
That's like a set like position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 6 students are going to change as the years go. Does everyone else understand?
Regardless,
Okay.
you have the like diversity chair representative there in the same way that you have the other 3 branch chairs. Whereas the other students aren't going to be like permanent on there; it could be smooth.
Oh yeah. But that's only going to change if the diversity chair changes, isn't it?
Wait, what?
So I'm questioning, I guess, to clarify, permanent member. So like, if diversity chair changes and it's the different diversity chair.
The
Yeah, so the position
of the chair is permanent.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying, is the position is permanent, just like the president position is permanent on that committee.
Yeah, so as it is right now, the diversity council chairs like the other undergraduate students, where it's not a permanent member. This would make sure that it keeps like this has to be a part of.
And I understand. The motion on the table is to add to that section to diversity chair to be a permanent member. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Bosin. Is there any discussion or debate on this item? We will open the debate, and we will close debate with Senator Thielhart.
Is that permanent as in a non-voting member or are they a voting member?
We voted as voting.
Yeah, this is just a permanent, the voting separate issue.
Yeah. And keep in mind, the other permanent members, I believe, are non-voting members, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so this would be only voting member that would be permanent. Okay, seeing no debate, let's move this to a vote. All in favor of adding the diversity chair as a permanent member of this committee? Any opposed? Any abstain? Vote is unanimous. Let's move to the main motion. I don't remember who made the main motion. Does someone mind making it right now? Actually, President Ron, I heard you made it.
I move to approve the ASUCR Student Voice Committee bylaws.
As perfected. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Lopez. The motion on the table is to approve the Student Voice Committee bylaws as perfected. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? The motion is, the motion is adopted or approved as perfected unanimously. Yes, Senator Perez.
Just kind of a point of clarification. So now that we added the chair of the diversity council to here, should we also expect a bylaw revision from the diversity council for the duties of the chair to be added?
We should. To be consistent, yes.
Yeah.
So you'll have to.
Yeah. It's technically, it's technically not necessary, but it should be done mostly because if it's not in their section, then they're not going to read it and they won't know. But yes. Let's move this on to public comment. Any members of the public wish to address this board this time?
Okay. So, I wasn't here earlier when ex officios would report, and I know this is supposed to be a section referring to earlier things. So I'm going to refer back to earlier when I can give a report, and give my report now. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, so some of this stuff is pretty important.
So to clarify, so the vice president wants to make a public comment. Any member whatsoever can make a comment, public comment on anything that happens in the
I'm giving a report about UCSA. If you all feel better about it, I can make a motion to include my report right now.
You could do this in public comment as a member of the public. You could do this in roundtable announcements, so it's not really a roundtable announcement. Or you could make a motion to add your external committee as a committee report.
Okay, cool. I was making sure everyone's good with that. Yeah. Okay.
If she wants to make it a committee report, would you like to make a committee report?
It's okay.
So do you?
As long as the Senate.
Is there any objection to her making a short report in public comment?
Okay. Great.
Seeing no objections, Vice President, please proceed.
Thanks. So yeah, I just wanted to give you all a report about the Sacramento Lobby Conference, and since there was a UCSA board meeting, an update on what UCSA is doing and how that affects our campus. So if you have any questions, just let me know. But yeah, so it was super exciting. We took 42 people up to Sacramento. It was really great. A big shout out to the amazing staff who helped put it on and who went, Brian and Wade, and especially Oscar for being there on his birthday and setting up everything, all of the lobby visits and everything. So that was really great. We had 10 lobby visits. We were there Friday through Monday. We spoke out for a bunch of bills, including AB 2017, which is a mental health bill that would use Proposition 63 and expand on that to allow funding that's untapped going into mental health services across the UC. So $40 million of untapped money being spent on mental health services specifically for the UC. So, and a bunch of other things that are super beneficial, and that was really exciting. Since we lobbied on it and we had so many students from across the UC system there lobbying, the day after, it actually passed through the Assembly of Higher Education, so that was really awesome. Then there was AB 1653, which is the Campus Climate Survey, which is basically a survey that's supposed to go out, recommended every 2 years for the UC system to see where students are at, especially with diversity, due to all the hate crimes that have been happening across the UC system recently, including even our own campus. And then it also was updated to include surveying students on student homelessness and food insecurity, so making sure that we have data so that we can create legislation that responds to those things effectively. Then AB 1747, which is the College Student Hunger Relief Act. which really was aimed at fixing the food insecurity issue that's affecting a lot of institutions of higher education. So we lobbied on all of those, and then we left leave behinds for AB 2455, which is a automatic voter registration bill, which has legislative intent to allow students to be automatically registered once there's the technology to do that through the UC system. Okay, and then
30
also,
seconds remaining.
I move to extend time by 5.
Sure, 5 minutes is good. Okay.
This motion takes time by 5 minutes. Or a second. Second by Senator Pereira. Sorry. Is there any objections to extending time by 5 minutes? Seeing none.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a really awesome rally that got a ton of news coverage. 2 amazing UCR students spoke. So if you see any of the coverage, you'll see them. Star is a first year, and she spoke, and she was picked to speak. She did really great, and Shani spoke as well, and so that was really awesome. They gave really powerful statements in support of these bills and in support of students across the state. We also lobbied on the budget, of course, to try to get more funding for students and for higher education. If you want to know more specifically about that, I can go into detail, but it's long, so just let me know if you want to know more about it. Yeah, there were some really cool things that happened. The Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom and President Pro Tem Board de Leon gave shout outs to UCSA. We had a lot of really awesome workshops. So we're going to be debriefing next week. If any of you all want to attend that just to see people who went. They're going to be Wednesdays at 1 p.m., next Wednesday at 1 p.m., and next Thursday at 2 p.m. in the ASUCR conference room. And Aja is going to be coming. Aja is the USSA, so the United States Student Association representative, to give an education justice workshop and to debrief as well, because she gave a workshop at SLC at 5 p.m. next Wednesday in the conference room. Yeah, okay, so the UCSA board meeting, this is what happened. I don't know if you've seen it in the news, but it was like blowing up all over the news. It was trending on Facebook that we asked for the resignation of Chancellor Katei, I always say her name wrong. And that's due to, if you don't know why, it's due to the pepper spraying of students on their campus, and then her spending $197,000 on trying to erase that from the internet of student money that could have gone to meals or anything, literally anything besides trying to scrub that off the internet. So we asked for her resignation. They pulled out of USSA financially. The board gave a shout out to Julia, which was super awesome for her workshop on self-care. So I wanted to mention that. We passed a food insecurity resolution, which was pretty awesome. If you want to see that resolution, I can send it to you. So these are all things that are affecting the entire UC, so the resolutions for the entire UC to be focusing on. There was also Ethical Investments Task Force, which is focused on applying right now. So if you want to apply to focus on trying to encourage UCOP to have ethical investments, let me know, because that application is going out. And we're also going to be pressuring UCOP for the $5 million that they promised undocumented students across the UC, because they haven't been contributing that money like they promised that they would. And then there was also a town hall at SLC about the SAGE fee that you all passed through the Senate. So, so it's just getting more student input from across the UC. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions.
Any questions or comments for the Vice President? Seeing none, Vice President, did I hear you right that UC Davis spent $175,000 trying to erase something from the internet?
Yeah. Yes, their chancellor did.
What happened again in that incident?
Okay, so
Vice President,
yeah.
order, please.
So basically, there were students that were protesting on their campus. There's pictures of students that are lined up being sprayed with pepper spray in their faces, which is super violent action towards students and protesters. And they didn't want that to be seen by the news, and so they spent tons of money trying to get off the news, and it just worked in the opposite of their favor. It's been all over the news, and hopefully she'll resign.
Was it 2012? 2011? 2011, yes. So UC gave police officers pepper sprayed a lot of protesters. Cool. Any other public comment at this time?
I'm Julia. So Summer's report actually reminded me, I'm a media intern for UCSA, and one of the things that we're doing is creating a UC wide newspaper, so it'll feature stories from every single campus as a collective student voice that we can use. And I'm looking for writers, so our first issue is focusing on housing insecurity, accessibility for students with disabilities, as well as food insecurity. So if any of those, and mental health, sorry. So if any of those is something that you're passionate about, I would love for you all to write something. And if that's what you're interested in, just let me know. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone wants to address the member of the public? Seeing none?
Awesome.
Anyone else with public comment? I'd like to remind everyone in the room that, again, traditionally public comment is made for anyone who wishes to address the board on something that happened on the agenda today. Public forum can be used to address the board on pretty much anything that happened whatsoever. But again, like, I as chair of this board encourages public comment and public interest as much as possible, so.
For clarification, Chair, I was giving public comment about the lack of the report that I was.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Yes, I mentioned the SLC in my report, so clearly she was just responding.
Clearly, yes. Look at that bridge. All right, last call for public comment. Moving on to roundtable announcements. We'll start on the left side. President Arano.
Pass.
Wait, how say
How was what?
Hayes.
Oh, thank you for asking. The Hayes went really well. I wasn't going to say anything because I had a couple senators talk about it, but thank you. It went really well. We had over 50 people there, which I think is awesome. We handed out actually 47 pepper sprays. We only advertised 45 because 45 is a good number, but it was actually 47 and everyone took them. We heard a lot of good reviews from the students based on Heather's performance. So it was, she marketed it as like a one-woman show, like a play, but it's not really a play as much as her just telling her story, which was a really beautiful story that was really impactful. And then she did a little session of Q&A where students could get involved. So it was awesome. If you didn't get a chance to go, maybe it'll happen again next year, which would be cool. So thank you for asking.
So I'll say this here since I'm being recorded, and I, for my last quarter, will plan on following through on all the coffee orders that have been left on my door. If you have not already put them up, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. I have taken a picture, I have screenshot, don't even try.
You're fit.
Yeah, it's coffee filler.
It's because like one day you promised to get the secretaries like.
Thank you so much for being.
I never promised.
It was for you, Vice President.
Let me choose as
We'll talk. General Advocate. Advocate General. My mistake.
General.
She's a pass.
Director.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Summer she did a really awesome job this weekend. I went to SLC and she did awesome. Lead the delegation.
Director.
Pass.
Really quick, next week my fraternity is doing a boba sale.
Fundraiser?
Yes.
Do you have any fundraiser?
No, it's just a fundraisers.
There's no motivation. Never mind.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid that I think it's
So great. Okay, boba next. All right.
Anything else, Senator?
Next week, that's it, I'm good.
SLC was fun, sorry.
Pass.
Congressman Takano and future Assemblywoman Serena Sermons is going to speak at College Dance tomorrow. We're going to have a banking session afterward. Yeah, future.
It's Medina, not Takano.
Excuse me?
It's Medina, not Takano.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was at last week's event. No, the week before that. It was awesome event, by the way. So it's going to be Jose Medina and future Assemblywoman Serena Sermons. So please show up and yeah.
Congressman Sanders is super happy that Bernie is about like 1 point behind Hillary in the national polls.
I'll send me your written report if you haven't.
So my boy Prince Rashid is going for Playboy Cardi tomorrow. Playboy Cardi is signed with ASAP Rocky, so yeah, we got the plug for pre-sale tickets. If you want to slide through, we're gonna get rowdy.
Pass. Pass.
on tickets for the 66ers game, so if you all want to buy a ticket, please do. 66ers, it's like a
Seats, please,
minor
you're adjourned, yes.
baseball team.
The Treasury announced that Harriet Tubman will be $2 bill, so.
Vice President.
Yeah, just a couple things. Our meeting is this Friday at 1 o'clock, so if you all want to come, we're going to be discussing the bylaws that are changing for my bylaws. And then also, there's an action tomorrow at 11:15 by the bell tower, anti-police care led by Alex. It's going to be really awesome, and so you should go if you have time in your class.
What's the action on?
Police care, anti-police care.
Around break.
And there's voter reg at the Bears End and the residence controls.
I believe that ends everything from roundtable announcement. Can I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
President Ford, move to adjourn to the
Second.
second.
I don't know my motion. I move to adjourn this meeting, Senate meeting number 22.
I second that motion. Second by Senator Thingard. Seeing no objections, this meeting is adjourned.